Please take care of your families. Those are the only people you can rely on. Friends abandoned us. Business associates betrayed us. But family will always be there for you.
Gachagua's political journey reads like a man always in a hurry and not ready to take no for an answer. After serving just one term as Mathira MP, the 59-year-old bulldozed his way into becoming President William Ruto's running mate during the August 9, 2022 general election. It's now a public secret that Mr. Gachagua was not the overwhelming choice by the Kenya Kwanza political leaders, with Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki. President William Ruto has nominated Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki as the next deputy president following the impeachment of Gachagua on Thursday night. President William Ruto's nominee for the deputy president position, Kithure Kindiki, is now just steps away from becoming the country's third deputy president. Kindiki now awaits formal appointment by President Ruto and will take the oath of office before assuming the second most powerful role in the country. The National Assembly approved Kindiki's nomination on Friday with its 236 MPs present in the House anonymously endorsing him in a roll call vote. The Interior Cabinet Secretary is expected to resign from one of the most influential roles in the cabinet before taking over as second in command following Gachagua's impeachment. The law requires Chief Administration of the Judiciary, Winfred Boyani, to administer the oath of office to the Deputy President designated in the presence of Chief Justice Martha Koome or the Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu. Gachagua made history as the first Deputy President to be impeached under Kenya's 2010 Constitution after Senate approved his impeachment on Thursday. And during the swearing-in at Kasarani in September 2022, Mr. Gachagua was a step ahead of the then Registrar of the Judiciary, Anne Amadi, who was administrating the oath of office.
Repeat after me.
I, Rigathi Gachagua,
in full realization of the high calling I assume as Deputy President
I, Rigathi Gachagua,
of the Republic of Kenya.
For a man who rose to the country's second most powerful seat and a heartbeat away from the presidency just 5 years after being elected to parliament, the meteoric rise of Mr. Gachagua was accompanied by an equally swift and dramatic fall. Born on February 28, 1965, Ruguru village, Mathira, Nyeri County, Mr. Gachagua political life mirrors that of Simon Makonde, a famous character in folk tales. It is the story of a man who was born on Monday, named on Tuesday, baptized on Wednesday, married on Thursday, fell ill on Friday, died on Saturday, and was buried on Sunday. Mr. Gachagua, who was elected MP for Mathira in 2017, served only 5 years in the National Assembly, rose to become the country's 12th principal assistant to the president in the 2022 elections, and fell after just 2 years in office. He campaigned with President William Ruto. His political body turned for on platform of economic transformation and inclusivity, especially for people at the bottom of the pyramid. The hustlers, they won in the first round with 50.4% of the vote, defeating their closest challenger, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya candidate Raila Odinga, who had teamed up with NARC Kenya leader Martha Karua in the race. But barely 2 years in office, Mr. Gachagua's relationship with Dr. William Ruto soared, with the impeached DP embarking on whirling political tours in his Mount Kenya backyard, where his allies accused the president for betrayal. Mr. Gachagua had earlier this month, during a tour of Meru County, warned of what he described as an elaborate plot to divide the vote-rich Mount Kenya region.
please take care of your families. Those are the only people you can rely on. Friends abandoned us. Business associates betrayed us. But family will always be there for you.
The president's allies had accused him of disobedience to his boss. Greek mythology tells the story of Heracles, the son of Daedalus, who ignored his father's instructions not to fly too close to the sun. As the two fled from King Minos, intoxicated by the experience of flight, Heracles flew higher and when the wax in his wings melted, he fell into sea and drowned. The myth seems to sum up the plight of Mr. Gachagua, who last night suffered the ignominy of becoming the first DP to be removed from office by the impeachment. A one-term MP who was catapulted by a twist of fate to become Dr. Ruto's United Democratic Alliance running mate in 2022 and eventually Deputy President. Mr. Gachagua appears to be someone who tried to reach too high too soon and it backfired. Barely 6 months in office, the former Mathira MP declared himself the guardian of State House, his job to ensure that those who did not support Kenya Kwanza were parried from all plum government positions. Accordingly, his job was to decide who was ahead of whom in the distribution of government positions. He openly described the new government as a company of shareholders, where some Kenyans are majority shareholders while others have no shares, perhaps taking cue from his boss. The self-proclaimed man of truth ended up being the first to reap from the seeds he had sown since taking over as DP, finding himself increasingly isolated in Kenya Kwanza's administration, and with the talk of impeachment growing, the self-proclaimed son of the Mau Mau decided to take the fight to his boss. He claimed that from the meeting he held in Mount Kenya backyard, the people of the region were not interested in seeing him out of government. He went on to challenge the president to clarify whether it was the Ford Foundation or officials from his office who funded the deadly Gen Z's protest June and July this year, which took place in 35 counties. The former deputy president reminded his boss that he was the biggest beneficiary of the Mount Kenya's people's disasters for betrayal, and as such, he should avoid the politics of betrayal. In the run-up to his impeachment motion, Mr. Gachagua had been on the receiving end and of attacks from Dr. Ruto's political allies from Mount Kenya's region, who accused him of jeopardizing local development projects by allegedly funding rebellion in the government. This later led to several elected leaders from the region and his diaspora declaring Professor Kindiki, who hails from Mount Kenya East, as their spokesman. They urged that the absence of centralized representative had hampered efforts to advance the region's agenda, believed to have presidential ambitions of his own, which may now be dashed by his ouster. He finds himself under the curse of the Mount Kenya and Kenyan's presidency. Believed to have presidential ambition of his own, which may have been dashed by his ouster, he finds himself under the curse of the Kenyan vice presidency or deputy presidency. Of the 12 people who have served in the role since independence, all but 4 have had public falling out with the president or faced some form of mistreatment by people close to their boss. They include Joseph Murumbi, who officially resigned in 1966, citing ill health, Musalia Mudavadi, who served for 3 months in 2002, Kijana Wamalwa, who died in office in 2003, and Mudi Wori, who succeeded Wamalwa for the remainder of Mwai Kibaki's first term until 2008.